around the world in different mediums. So Pham is an English teacher, an English lecturer of English at Ton Duc Thanh University in Ho Chi Minh City. He's coming to us all the way from Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam right now. And so I would just turn it over to you, and thank you very much.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for your participation. So today I will talk about the use of corpus of contemporary American English in teaching collocations. So I think that some of you may know about corpus, and some of you may not, and therefore I think I should introduce some definitions, okay, so you can better understand my presentation. So here is the outline of my presentation. I will talk about, first of all, what is a corpus, and then what are the benefits of using corpus in the language classroom, and then what is COCA, and what is collocation and the assertion strength of the collocation. And we'll move on to do some practical activities at the end of the presentation, okay? So when we think about corpus, according to Oxford Dictionary, is the collection of written or spoken text. But if we think about corpus in a more linguistic definition, it's a large collection of natural occurring language texts presented in a machine-readable form, accumulated in a scientific manner to characterize a particular variety. So basically, when you want to build a corpus, you need to have some criteria. So for example, if you want to focus on the age of the learners, or you want to focus on the educational level of the learners, so basically you need to have some criteria before you can collect and build a corpus. And also the corpus must be machine readable. It means that the corpus must be processed by the computer, okay? And when we think about the benefits of using corpora, there's so many benefits which have been well documented in research. So for example, the use of a corpora allows teachers to draw on a large amount of data, authentic language data produced by different types of speakers and writers. At the same time, it allows teachers to reflect on their institution. So, for example, sometimes you don't know whether your choice of a particular linguistic feature is correct or not. You can use the corpus, okay, to double check on that. And also from the student perspective, it can give them plenty of authentic examples so they can see how a specific linguistic feature is used in context. And also improve the student awareness of linguistic forms and functions. And finally, it allows the students to promote their learning motivation and autonomy, because when they see the examples were used by native speakers, and they feel more interested in learning about the linguistic feature that they have found. Okay, and what is COCA? So COCA is a corpus of contemporary American English. So basically, this corpus contains 1 billion words of text, so like 25 million words each year from 1990 to 2019. And COCA is very multifunctional. It means that you can search for a variety of lexical items in context. And you can also search for phrases. So for example, you can search for phrasal verbs. You can search for some idioms. Also, you can search for the formality of the words. So you want to see whether the words are formal or informal as well. And core is very user-friendly. It's so easy to use. You just need to have an account. Usually it's a free account, okay? And then you just, do some basic search on Coca, and then you can find what you want. Okay, now let's move on to the main thing of the presentation. This is the collocation. So for collocation, I want to speak from a statistics standpoint, because we need to understand how collocations behave, and then we can use COCA to check the collocation. So collocation is the co-occurrence of words within a certain span with a statistical strength of association. It's very important. So it means that when you think about collocation, we have to think about the strength of the association. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so thank you, Greg. So the strength of association refers to the likelihood of the two words that make up a collocation co-occurring. What does it mean? It means that a collocase with strong association strength will be more likely to co-occur, and collocase with a weak association strength will be less likely to co-occur. Okay, it's very important. So I just want to repeat one more time, so that you can, better understand, and then we have some activities that will investigate the strength of the collocation. Okay, so a collocase with a strong association strength will be more likely to co-occur, and while collocase with the weak association strength will be less likely to co-occur. Okay, so now let's talk about the mutual information. Now, mutual information is one measure of the strength of the association. Okay, so in COCA, it allows you to check the mutual information of the collocation. It means that in COCA, it allows you to see, okay, where the collocase are more likely or less likely to co-occur. And then the threshold for that could be 3. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, let me give you an example. Now, let's say we have two collocations. The first one, shoulder plus responsibility, and then tag plus responsibility, okay? And if you check the mutual information in COCA, and you will know that the mutual information score for shoulder plus responsibility is 6.71, and the mutual information score for tag responsibility is 3.13. Now, what does it mean? When you look at the numbers, it means that, okay, because here in COCA, the mutual information must be above 3 for the two collocations that statistically co-occur together. So both collocations, shoulder responsibility and tag responsibility, there is a statistical strength of the association. It means that the two collocations, they tend to occur not by chance, but they tend to occur statistically, okay? And then when we compare the mutual information between the two collocations, and you can see that shoulder plus responsibility, the score for shoulder responsibility is higher. What does it mean? It means that when you compare them together, shoulder responsibility is more likely to co-occur than tag responsibility. Okay, I hope I make myself clear here. Are there any questions about this before I move on? Because it's very important concepts. Okay. No. All right. Oh, okay.
So the shoulder responsibility occurs more often than take responsibility. Is that correct?
No, it's not more often. It tends to occur together.
Oh, yes, tend to occur together more often?
Not necessarily, okay, yeah, because here for us, I think that in COCA, if I remember correctly, I think the tag responsibility, when we think about frequency, that could be maybe like 30,000 times, okay, maybe. But for shoulder responsibility, the frequency is, I think, maybe like 10,000 times, okay? So when we talk about mutual information, we don't talk about the frequency, but we talk about the strength, okay? The statistical strength, like how the two words, okay, tend to occur together. So it's different from frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so this is the beauty of the mutual information. Okay, and then I will explain to you later on, and then I will show you example in Collocations so you better understand. So here, so what is important here for us to think about the mutual information, to think about the strength of the collocation, not the frequency of the collocation. Because many research studies have shown that non-native writers significantly underuse collocations with high mutual information score, but overuse collocations with low mutual information score compared to their native counterparts. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that we look at this one. Okay, so for a non-native writers, they will tend to use the collocation with a low mutual information score. So they will tend to use tech responsibility, but for a native speaker, they tend to use collocation with high mutual information score in writing. Okay, yes. So this is the reason why is one important pedagogical indication. It means that in a classroom, we need to introduce, like the student should be exposed to collocations with high mutual information score, because the native speakers tend to use collocations with high mutual information score in writing. All right. Yeah. So this is very important concept here. All right. So let me sum up. So we'll talk about a corpus. It's a collection of written or spoken text compiled in a scientific way. Colloca is a collection of 1 billion American English words. And when we think about the collocation, we think about the co-occurrence. Okay, sorry. We think about the co-occurrence of words with statistical association strength. And mutual information is one measure of the strength of the collocation. The higher mutual, the higher MI score, the more likely the two words collocate with each other. And in writing, non-native writers usually use collocations with low MI score, but native speakers, they tend to use in writing collocations with high mutual MI score, with high MI score. And the threshold for MI scores is 3 in Colloca. It means that if the mutual information of the collocation is 3, the two words tend to occur together statistically, not by chance. Now, let's do some interesting activities based on the mutual information. Okay, here I think that some of you may be native speakers, some of you may not. So let's do it to see. Okay, the first activity. I like this activity a lot, and I use it in my classroom. Now, come up with at least 5 words that can go with these words below. So the first collocation would be an adverb plus the beautiful. So I want you to think about 5 adverbs that can go with beautiful. And then what about the verb? that can go, the verbs that can go with responsibility. Okay, 5 words that can go with responsibility. And then differ, I want you to think about 5 words that can go with differ. Okay, so I give you maybe like 3 minutes, okay, for you to, for you to do this activity. Okay, so I have here, we have so beautiful, extremely unusual, truly beautiful, and then unbeautiful. Okay, great. Yeah, you just type your answer in the chat box, right? Okay, wow, okay, incredibly, okay, yes, okay, wonderfully, extremely, okay, okay, immensely, incredibly. Okay, because here I don't know how many of you are native and how many of you are non-native, because you can see a surprising result when you look at, you know, when you look at the answers in Coca. Okay, so I don't know. Here have here immensely, incredibly, unbelievably. Okay, you have William here. Yeah, that's great. What about here? The verb that can go with responsibility. So like five verbs. Okay, you have here give, assume, accept. Okay. Okay, deny, accept, defer. Okay, okay, take, give, accept, endorse. Okay, great. Yeah. What about other? Okay, give and take. Okay, wonderful. You will be surprised when you see the results in Coca. Okay, you have take here. Okay, and then with okay, great, wonderful. What about differ here? Okay, so how I need to have some. Okay, wildly, considerably, great, enormously, slightly. Okay, wonderful. And other participants, you have any, okay, yeah, okay, significantly, widely here. Okay, all right. So now let's check the collocations in Coca. Okay, so usually in a classroom, I will explain how to use Coca to check for the assertion strength of the collocation to the students. If you have time, you can start up very quickly. And then because we have some activities that require you want to have some hands-on, you know, to examine Coca by yourself. So if you want, let me here. Okay, so we'll share screen here. All right, so this is the interface. So if you want, you can sign up for an account. It's very quickly, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, for the next activity, because the next activity is more challenging and you need to use Corpus. Okay, let me check let's see, first of all, I want to find the collocation that can go with beautiful, right? So I search here, beautiful, and I click on the word here. There's so many functions in Collocations. We have here compare, collocate, browse, and list and chats, and then queue in context. But but my presentation doesn't focus on details. We just focus on the collocate and then the mutual information of the collocation. Okay, so let me see the detail for the word here. Okay, I will have login. So this okay. Oh, let me see. Maybe I'll say yeah, because if you use the non-licensed account, it allows you to search for 20 times only. So you can search for 20 times only. So while waiting for me, maybe you want to set up an account, okay, quickly on Collocations, because we'll have some more hands-on, more difficult activities for you to do later on that you need to use Collocations. Let me take one more time. Okay, let me see here. Oh, here you go. Okay, so now you would use the word function to search for the collocate, and in collocate it also gives you many useful pieces of information about the word. So for example, here you have blog, web, TV, spoken, fiction, magazine, news, and academic. So beautiful is not okay. It's not what I use in academic setting, and you can show this information to the student to raise the awareness of how it was being used across different contexts if you want. Also, you have here the topics, and then you have here pseudonym, but the most interesting one, in my opinion, could be the color case. Okay, so I will click on that. Okay, so here, now it gives you here that could be the noun that can go with beautiful, and the adjective that can go together with beautiful, and the verb here, and then you have here the adverb, right? But if you look at that, that could be the frequency. So here, what does it mean? You have here like 3, 5, 5, 9, 2, 4. It means that the collocation beautiful woman occurs 5,924 times in a corpus. Okay, so have here the frequency. The first column here, they will give you the frequency. How many times the collocations, okay, occur in the corpus of 1 billion words. Okay, but we are not interested in that. Okay, we are interested in the mutual information, the strength of the collocation. So if you want to do that, you need to click on advanced option here, advanced option, and then you have to click on MI. It means that the mutual information. Okay, so let's see the MI here, and then I will click go. Okay, so here you will see that the mutual information here for you, and then they have the cut-off point of 3. So remember that in Collocations, they set up a cut-off point or a threshold for 3 for 2 words that co-occur statistically together. Okay, so they will make these words in blue. So you have here now scenery. Beautiful scenery and vista, maiden, bright, okay, sunset, countryside, sunrise, flower. So these are the collocations that tend to occur together. statistically. Okay. Now look for the F verb. So this is where I ask you to think about the collocate. So have here hauntingly, breathtakingly, stunningly, strikingly, particularly, impossibly, actually, incredibly, most amazingly, strangely. So these are the collocations that tend to occur statistically. Okay, so look at your result here, and I think it's very interesting because you give me like extremely. Do you have extremely here? No, we don't have that. Okay, we have immensely. No, we don't have that. Okay, unbelievably. Okay, no, we don't have that. And what about the incredibly? Yes, we have incredibly here. So, okay, what does it mean? It means that in the classroom, maybe we should expose the student to the collocations with high mutual information scores, because these collocations are more likely to be used by native speakers in writing. Okay, so now one interesting thing is that you may ask, oh, I'm a native speaker, but I use immensely. I don't use incredibly. So why I don't see any immensely beautiful here in the corpus? You may ask me that question. It's because when, okay, so two things. It's because when COCA, they calculate the mutual information score, they calculate the score for immensely, and they calculate the score for beautiful. So you need to have two scores, and then they sum up the score together to have the mutual information. So you cannot find immensely beautiful, immensely beautiful. Okay, this is this answer for the first question. Now the second question would be, it is wrong. It is wrong for me to use immensely beautiful as a native speaker. No, it's not wrong. Okay, because the choice of collocation is not restricted to the mutual information score only, but it is it depends on the context. Okay, so it depends on the context. So in this case, okay, you use the collocations, but then the collocations will depend on the context. But the result here, it will show you, it means that the majority of native speakers will tend to use the collocations, okay, with high mutual information score. Okay, how can you look at specific pairs of collocations? Oh, so here this is the mutual information, the MI score. So hauntingly beautiful, we have the 8 from 15 MI score. You can see here. It's very, very high MI score, right? And I have here breathtakingly, that could be 7.80. Okay. Now don't be mistaken between the MI score and the frequency, because look at this. Stunningly beautiful. The frequency, the first column is the frequency. So stunningly beautiful occurs 171 times, okay, which is higher than hauntingly beautiful, because hauntingly beautiful is occurs 98 times, right? However, we are not interested in the frequency. We are interested in the mutual information score, because remember, the native speakers tend to use collocations with high mutual information scores. So here we can find the MI score here, the second column. This is the second column. Okay. Right. Now, any questions so far before we move on to a more interesting activity? I think that it's very challenging and it's very interesting. I tried this activity in my classroom and I just love it. Okay. Any questions? So if it's not here, can we calculate MI score manually? Yes, you can do that. You can calculate the MI score manually. Okay. But you need to have the you need to have a corpus. So first of all, I think that you need to have the corpus. So how many words in the corpus? Okay, so the number of words in the corpus, and then you have word number one and word number two, and you need to find the frequency. Okay, the frequency of words. No, not the frequency of words, but you have to find the frequency of all of the words. So, so first one, you have to find the frequency of all the words in corpus, and then you will find the frequency. Okay, of word one, and then the frequency of word number two, and then we use, I think you use the log likelihood, yeah, I forgot. I think maybe you the statistic here, and then you can calculate the MI score manually by yourself. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Any questions so far before we move on? No? Okay. Have you have you signed up for an account? If you don't, that's okay. But if okay, let's move on to the next activity then. So now for the next activity, I want you to, so here, this is called, oh, this is the answer. Okay, guess the words. So now so in my class, I gave the student two paragraphs, okay, two paragraphs, and these paragraphs are taken from well-known journals in the field. So the first paragraph is from Language Teaching Research, and the second paragraph is from TESOL Quarterly. Okay, now what do you assume here? You can see that these paragraphs are produced by very advanced writers. Is that correct? Because these paragraphs are written by advanced writers. So if you want to publish an academic article in top-tier journals, you have to make sure that your language is very good, right? And also during the revision process, okay, they will edit your language to make sure that your language is super good. Okay, so if you look at this one, you can see that these paragraphs represent a very high level use of language. Now, I asked my student, can you guess what are the words that the writers use here? Okay, here's it. Just make a guess. Okay, yes, just make a guess and give me, okay, so no one here. I gave my student a paragraph because I want them to see the context. Okay, so they can see the context and they can make a guess at the word. William here considerably, entirely, clearly, radically. Okay, very good. Yes, just make a guess. Anyone? Okay, I have see here. Yes, these are for the answer. Sorry. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Has significance. Okay. Oh, completely clearly. Okay. Oh, number one, you need to have an adjective. That's correct. I think here you need to have an adjective. Maybe I will have, you need to have an adverb here. And here you need to have an adverb too. And this one, you need to have an adverb too. Yeah. In a classroom, I will ask for students to identify. Okay. I have here rapids. Okay. Other participants, you have any other ideas? Well, it doesn't matter that you can make a guess right or wrong. I will show you how you can double check. Okay. Okay, so number three here, wonderful. Okay, heavily for number, I think for number one. Okay, now let's check, right? Okay, so before we check, I will show you the answer and explain to you how you can use Corpus to make a guess of a very advanced writers when they use the collocations. All right, so here you go. This is the answer. Okay, you have here substantial, heavily, clearly, and drastically. Now I look at this here and I see that some of you guess correctly, right? Okay, so you can make the guess correctly. now, and some of you don't make the guess correctly, but it doesn't matter. So now let's give the answer here. So you have here substantial progress, and you have here rely heavily on, and here you have clearly oh, look at that. Oh my God, maybe we don't have time, so I will, okay, quickly explain this one. And you have here just got to change. Okay, so now let's double check in the corpus. So I will stop share here. And then, sorry, and then I will move, I will share the screen here. Okay, so first I will check the progress, right? So I have here, this one. In the classroom, I will ask my student to check by themselves and to use the corpus to identify the collocations, because their levels are not good compared to your level. So sometimes they cannot make a guess. So after they guess the words, they will use the collocation to double check. So we have here see detail for the word. No, yes. Let me see again. Okay, here you go. Now collocations. Okay, so I want to find adjective here, right? The adjective, but I want to use the MI score. I'm not interested in look at the frequency. So I use the MI score here. So let me see the MI score here and go. Oh, the problem is here. So adjective yearly. Oh, okay, so here, yearly, pathological, okay, incremental, forward, and slow, adequate, steady, rapid. Okay, so correct, you get rapid, right? And then tangible, educational, right? Substantial here, and then tremendous, considerable, please, academic, scientific, continue, remarkable, significant, economic. Okay, you have here. And remember that the cut-off point is 3 in Coca, right? So here now, so some of you make the guess correctly, right? Okay, because you have good levels of use of English. So you are asking me why not yearly or forward or slow or steady? Because you need to base on the context. In this context, okay, in the paragraph, in the context here, it talked about the importance of something. So when you look at the mutual inflection score here, you may choose words like rapid or substantial or tremendous or considerable. Okay, let me see the question here. Right, yes, in Coca, yeah, in Coca is 3. Okay, so you can compare that when you are very advanced writer, you tend to use collocations with high mutual information score. Okay, and the student need to know that, right? Now let's move on to the second one. I think rely. So we'll check rely here. And then I will have see detail for the word as well. And then I can have collocate here. And then I'm not interested in that. I would choose a mutual information. Oh, here, and then I let go. Oh, here. So you see, I see some of you use heavily. It's very good. It's very advanced collocations because you have it rely heavily on something. I have here solely exclusively, and I think you're very good because I think many of you are native speakers, I guess, and then you can think of the collocations with high mutual information score very easily. And you have here probably extensively, increasingly, instead, many entirely traditional, largely. Okay, very good. Okay, great. Here you also have some collocations, but the collocations do not pass the threshold of 3. Okay. Yes. So any questions so far about this activity? So this activity, the aim is to show the students in writing how an advanced writer uses collocations in their writing. Okay. And how can you check and how can you maybe imitate the way that they use the collocation in writing. Okay. Any questions so far before we move on to the last activity of my presentation today? No? Okay. I love this activity because the students love it. Okay. They're so excited to make a guess. Okay. What part was here? At first I thought to themselves, oh, teacher, I couldn't guess. How can I know? How can I know? Just make a guess and we'll show you the way to check. And then they're so interested in using Corpus and mute information to double check. And then when they realize that, oh, okay, so these are the words that they can use. And for self-study, they can make, they have the notebook and then they make notes and then they can copy down some collocations with high mutual information score in the notebook, and then they can use the collocations later on. Okay, so they look at this one and they copy down the words in the notebook. Okay, now let's move on to the last activity. The last activity is very challenging, okay, because I love that as well. Let me share with you the last activity. For this one, I want you to think about the synonyms. Now, let's say, what if your student asks you to compare between important and necessary? And how can you answer the student then? Okay, so now I want you to think about the collocase that can go with importance and necessary. Okay, yes. Maybe I give you some, maybe like 4 minutes or so, I don't know. Okay, so think about a collocate that can go with important and necessary, and write down your answer in the chat box. So here you can think about the adjective that can go, the adverb that can go with important, the noun that can go with importance. And also here you have the adverb. Okay, yes. Oh, okay, yes, sure. Okay, yes. I can see here we don't have time, so. And it's super useful for non-native teachers like me, because sometimes I don't know how to explain to the student. Wow, I have here important findings, words, use, necessary things are past. Okay, important information, news, some person, terribly. Wow, okay, great. But you don't know, you don't know for sure. You don't know for sure whether the two words are actually collocations, right? You just make a guess. You don't know for sure, right? Okay. Any other participants that you have any? Okay. Yes, necessary evil. Okay, wonderful. Okay. Let me show you the answer then. So if you want to do that, you need to go back to Collocations, and then you need to compare the mutual information between the two words. I repeat this for you already. So here, look at this. Now for important, you see here the noun, that could be determinants, milestone, caveat, distinction, aspect, role, implication, factor, consideration. So these are, okay, the common collocase that go with importance, right? Necessary, you have here condition, recursion, evil. Very good. I see here necessary, evil. And then seasoning, paperwork, adjustment, skill, mean, qualification. Now, if you look at these two, you can see clearly which words that should go with important and which word that should go with necessary. Is that correct? Okay, you can show the students, okay, the collocations, and then they will understand and they can improve the use of the collocations. So they know, okay, when they write and then which word they should use with important and which word that they can use with necessary. The same goes for adverbs. So we have here important, we have vitally. There's so many, interestingly, there's so many adverbs that can go with important. So many of them. But for necessary, you only have like 4 that can go with necessary statistically. Okay, that can go with necessary. You also have here effectively, successfully, politically, probably, but these words, okay, can go with necessary, but they tend to occur by chance only, not statistically co-occur together. So when you look at the file, you look at the result here, and then you can ask the student to note down important collocations that can go with important and that can go with necessary. So this is also the end of my presentation for today. There's so many things more I want to share, but we don't have time. Any questions so far about this presentation? Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. I also, if you, if you are interested, I also publish a few papers that you can use software, and then you can extract the most popular structures in a corpus. Let's say you are teaching IELTS or you are teaching TOEFL, and then you can use the software, and then you can annotate, and then you can explore what are the most common structures or what are the most common collocations that occur in IELTS or in TOEFL. If you want, I can share with you my paper, and then maybe you can know if you want to use the software, or if you want to use my technique, you can apply in your classroom and then explore the most common structures and collocations in a particular corpus, such as IELTS corpus or TOEFL corpus. Because I think that the student may be interested in knowing what structures that they should use, or the words that they should know.
So you'll put those into the chat, the links to those in the chat, will you?
Yeah, let me search for the article.
Sure.
Corpus space.
While you're doing that, I think that everybody would agree that your enthusiasm for this is contagious. It's really quite beautiful. So we really appreciate your presentation and sharing the work that you've done. And I think you've probably got some converts to using Coca a little bit more. I think most teachers have used it at some point, but maybe haven't really put it into their class planning as much as you have. So I think you might have inspired some. So thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed that a lot too. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
I use Coca a lot, actually, and I just downloaded it, in fact, a couple of days ago, and I'm using it on AntConc.
Wonderful. Mm-hmm.
So I have a kind of a technical question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So like I've used mutual information before, and I've also used DICE or certain other metrics like mutual information 2 or 3. And do you have like is there a reason why you particularly prefer that metric to any of the others? Right.
Okay. Actually, if you want to measure the strength and the collocation, there are many ways. So you can have the t-scores, and you can have the log statistics, and you also have the mutual information. So basically, these are the most common ways to measure the MS score. And I remember one article published in language learning, the top journal in the field, and then compare the effectiveness of three measures, and I found that log statistics is more like, okay, so when you build a corpus, so let's say when you search for the frequency, sometimes you can be affected by the size of the corpus. Your corpus is too small, something like that. Okay, and I found that the log statistics is more preferable, okay, compared to the MI score. But in Colca, I don't think that we can follow log statistics. Okay, like you don't, but okay, so in Colca, you cannot find the log statistics. If you do that, you need to calculate the log statistics by hand. So you cannot do that in Colca. Mute the information, although there are some limitations, there's some criticism against mute the information. But it actually, if you look at the research about collocations, there's so many papers that use MI score to examine the strength of the collocation. So it is okay. It's okay to use, and the teachers can use it, okay, by looking at the information in Colca. Now, if you want to log at statistics, I suggest you to use, I think, Sketch Engine. Okay, so can use Sketch Engine to search for log statistics. So in Sketch Engine, you upload the corpus that you have. So for example, if you can create a corpus of IELTS essays or a corpus of TOEFL essays, okay, so you create these two corpora and you upload your own corpora on Sketch Engine, and then it will tell you, they will tell you the log statistics of the collocations, and from there you can know the collocations that you should choose to teach in a classroom.
Thank you very much for that. Was a very